Hello everybody, welcome to This Day on this New Year's Eve day. It is December 31st.
I have my sparkler.
There's like an extra light in the studio shining over here.
I'm getting in the spirit.
Bree
it's
is ready.
New Year's Eve.
I'll probably change before I go to the party.
You have sequins?
I don't have sequins, but I got something planned.
Well, folks, on today's show, we have part 2 of National Geographic photographer Jason Edwards and my interview with him. And I just really want to make sure that everybody knows you have about a month to enter to win a signed copy of Icebergs to Iguana. The drawing will take place on February 3rd. We'll give you the entry details a little bit later in the show.
All right, and since Bree and I are going to be partying into the wee hours of New Year's Day, we're not coming in tomorrow, folks, so we got movies for you on our Stay Informed segment. We got The Big Short. It's going to be at 9 a.m. Great movie about the 2008 financial disaster here. Star is Born, the remake of that one with Brad Cooper and Lady Gaga. And then Tom Hanks stars in Sully, the Miracle on the Hudson. True story there. So those are a fun lineup we have for New Year's Day while Bree and I and the rest of us here take the day off.
That's right. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. We're a little bit up and down this week, folks. We've got a high of 63 today, so really chilly still. And then we are climbing up into 71, 72 on Thursday midweek, and then tapering off again toward the weekend. Mostly cloudy all week. Not much else to say.
Sunny on Thursday. Yeah, sunny on Thursday.
Okay.
That'll be nice.
Hopefully it'll come out for longer than a couple of hours. I'm ready for it.
Just a preview of spring in January.
Exactly.
All right, let's take a look at our sunrise and our sunset. We got a beautiful shot here. Thank you very much from R.J. Partridge sending that in from Laguna Woods right here. Beautiful sunset, I'm guessing.
Sky is on fire.
Sunrise this morning was 6:55. Sunset tonight is 4:53. If you have a beautiful sunrise, sunset, pets, pictures, old holiday stuff, maybe send us a New Year's picture. We'd love to see that too. Email us, lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Make sure you include your name, where you took the picture, and we will use it in our sunrise sunset segment.
There's no meetings to tell you about today, folks, but after the break, we'll be sitting down with Jason Edwards, part 2, National Geographic photographer interview.
There we go.
Hi, my name is Dr. Faramant. Brilliant Smile has been the premier dental office of Laguna Woods Village for over 30 years now. We take the extra time to understand our patients' unique needs. We truly care about your happiness and dental wellness. We always provide the absolute highest quality of dental work at very affordable prices in a very relaxing environment. Stop by or give us a call and experience the Brilliant Smile difference. We are conveniently located close to Gate 6.
Attention Laguna Woods homeowners. Upgrade your bathroom with luxury bath designs of Orange County and enjoy up to $4,000 off or 20% savings, whichever is greater. We bring everything right to your door: fixtures, faucets, flooring, walls, and more. No hassle, no stress. Our expert team will design a space that's beautiful, comfortable, and safe. Call now or visit luxurybathdesigns.com to schedule your consultation. Luxury, comfort, and peace of mind, just one call away.
And welcome back to the show. Today we're sitting down with Jason Edwards, National Geographic photographer. Jason's got a special gift for one lucky viewer. Enter the contest to win a signed copy of Icebergs to Iguanas. Please email us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com and send us your name and your phone number so we can get a hold of you. In the subject line of your email, please write National Geographic entry. And for those of you who entered and who really would love a copy of this fabulously beautiful book, you can pick up your copy through Amazon.com. It's a beautiful coffee table book.
Yeah, thank you.
And such a source of inspiration for photography. I know that we have the photography club here in Laguna Woods Village. And You know, the photos that come through from our viewers, we put them on our sunrise, sunset segments.
Oh, fantastic.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. And I mean, if you've, and that's the thing, I mean, you've got avid photographers obviously in the community.
We do.
But also, you know, the book is a behind the curtains kind of look at what I do and how I saw those stories. So if you're interested in how someone like myself does what we do or thinks about it, then the book's probably for you, or if you've got someone who's interested in photography. And at the back of the book, I ran a scholarship, photography scholarship that I built for National Geographic for about 8 years. And I'll plan to rebuild it. So at the back of the book is that criteria of how I did the judging and
right?
in my thought bubbles, keep going back across and back one. So in this page spread here, it's got the thought bubbles about what I look for in a frame and how I take every shot. Is it doing this? Is it doing this? Is it doing this? So if you want a little bit of a very inside my brain kind of snapshot of photography, I put that in the back of the book because most people love photography, but they struggle with square one. So, you know, the book is the stories and the journal entries and the behind the scenes, but it's also one of those journeys you can take, and I'm sure people will relate to their photographic journey as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think this would be a great thing for the photography club to maybe incorporate in one of their classes.
Yeah, very much
so.
so.
Go over all of your bullet points.
Yeah. Well, next time I'm back in LA and I'm here, often I'll come down and meet the folks at the club if you like.
I love it.
Yeah,
I think that we could have a live studio audience. We could have question and answer session.
That's right. You know, people can yell at me and go, "Your pictures aren't that good."
Well, you know, I was teasing with our friends and I said, I don't know, Jason taught me a little too much. I think my photo looks better than his.
Hey, I want everyone to succeed. That's okay. I'm not insecure about that.
Not a chance. Oh my goodness. So we've talked about, you know, your experience with National Geographic taking you to every corner on this globe. Do you have a favorite shot in mind?
Wow, a favorite shot of all. Wow, Bree. Wow.
I know. We're digging deep here.
Yeah, we're digging deep.
Over 24 years.
Look, probably, you know, it's interesting. As I said to you, emotionally, probably the giraffe and wildebeest shot. However, I think for me, the thing that's been a key to success for me, and I'm not avoiding the answer, but I think the thing that's been a success for me is I find everything interesting. You know, so when I travel, that's how I stay on the road. And so what drives me forward photographically is to get that next frame that becomes my favourite. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's so many frames that are in the book. I mean, there's a leopard and mother cub touching noses in the book. And I went to that tree 6 days in a row and she was there by herself. And the propellers are spinning on the dirt plane. People are yelling at me on the two-way, all of this kind of thing. And I made my friend Frank, the driver, you know, my guide, "Stop, Frank, stop. We'll give it 17 seconds." And he said 17 seconds and he hit his watch. And a cub walked out of the grass in that 17 seconds, up that branch and touched face. So, you know, so that's one of my favourites. But on our trip, I took a shot, I don't know if you recall, of a raindrop on an acacia thorn, and maybe I didn't show everyone because it was just special to me, but inside the acacia thorn was an upside down acacia tree inside the raindrop.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah,
this.
so it was one of these things. Sometimes I take these frames and it's quite not that I don't want to share them, but it's quite, I see something in them that other people won't. So I sort of saw these raindrops and then my brain said, get out of the vehicle and go, you know, maybe I was near camp or something, I can't remember now. Mm-hmm. So I started focusing on these raindrops and then I noticed that one of the trees in the background was in one of the raindrops. And it took me a while, but then I've got the tree, so it's a raindrop with an upside down acacia on the end of an acacia thorn. So things like that can give me a little bit of pat on the back
Well,
moments.
I remember heading out on a drive one morning and you had pointed out the ornamental grasses and the little dewdrops that were on the grasses. So you zoom in really close.
Correct,
you get such a beautiful visual of this texture.
And I mean, I think that's one of the things that you don't have to necessarily go to exotic locations to find wonderful pictures.
At all.
But for me, I see the minutiae in everything. I see all the smallest details as well as the large, which can be quite overwhelming. But that's how I see the world in 24 by 36, you know, the dimensions of 35 millimetre.
Right.
And so I travel the world visualising that rectangle vertically. And so when we see these things, all the time, my brain is ching, 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 ching.
Right.
Even talking now, I could shoot frames of you with the backgrounds and everything, because that's how I want to experience the world. And so some people have said to me over the years, you must miss so much because you're always looking through the lens.
No, you see everything.
I see, it can be overwhelming. I see everything. I walk down a market and I'm seeing cooking, and I'm seeing clothing, I'm seeing wrinkles on hands, and the smile lines, and suffering, and biological stories and everything. It's like a whirlwind of opportunity.
I would imagine you are taking in 100 times more than most people.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of glaze over, and you are seeing the minutia and the different aspects of everything that you see.
And everything. And that's why, and you saw I don't need a lot of sleep. I love sleep.
Right.
I'm not an insomniac. But there's so much to see and experience that often when I get back and I do my selects for the story to see how I told the story or our journey, that's when I come from the third person perspective down into my first person experience. So we travel, we experience things, but when I've got those moments at home, then I come back in and say, did I tell the story? And I pass through that same journey again, but from an overlooking perspective. Did that work? Does that touch my heart? Did I do myself justice? And for me, and this is a really easy rule for anyone to adopt, is it better or different? So that's my motto, better or different. It doesn't have to be better than anyone else done in the world, because photography is such a personal journey.
Right.
But for me, it's like, is it better than I've done before or different than I've done before? So if I revisit somewhere, I've got a point of reference. If I go somewhere for the first time, I judge myself really harshly. So am I taking a shot? Let's say I'd been to Thailand before, but let's say I go to Tajikistan and I've not worked there. If I take a photo, my brain immediately gives me that rule. Is it better or different than I could have done if I was back here? So I work myself a dance. I work myself again and again and again. Is my composition good? Am I low enough? Am I wide enough? Is my lens correct? Is my depth of field, how much is in focus? Is that correct? Is it better or different or better? And that's in my brain 24/7.
And I would imagine, Jason, that would take away any type of regrets after you leave location. Because I know for me, so many times, I kind of just get tired. Like, I'm tired, and I know that it's your life. But, photography, I love, but I don't make money. That's not how I make my living.
Yes.
So I get tired, and I just sometimes want to be in the moment.
Yeah.
But I know when I get home, I'd be like, oh, why didn't I just take the time, set it up, do it correctly, and get that shot? Because I'll probably never be in that part of the world again.
No, and I mean, I say this next sentence to you with love as a friend, is that you were so determined to work hard, which I love. That's why we spend so much time together. I spend more time with you than anyone.
I know.
But as a mentor, I saw that internal battle, because you were seeing shots that you didn't necessarily know how to translate, which was why I was there. And then you would translate them. But once that door's open, it's a bit of a Pandora's box.
It is.
Because then you keep going and you keep going, and you find yourself 30 years later with 1 million frames. So I completely get that. And then your brain is working on the composition and the lighting and all of these things that the photographers who are watching know that it's like golfers. Golfers get that one shot right, and then they think they'll get it again, and it doesn't happen again.
Never happens again.
That's photography.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter how much you know, you're chasing that white rabbit all the way through your creative part of your brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit, but when we look at your photos, we can never fully grasp or understand what you're going through at that moment. You mentioned almost missing your flight or getting called out because you knew, instinctively you knew that there was something that mother lion was up to, waiting for that baby. And it kind of reminds me of when we were in the Game Viewer trekking that lion, and everybody else had gone back to camp. All the other vehicles, I don't know how many 7 other vehicles, everyone left and went back to camp, gave it up. And you and I got what I consider my National Geographic lion. I mean, and it was worth the patience.
Exactly.
So how many nights are you spending in a tree? How many? Well, I can't even imagine.
No, and that's the thing. And it's interesting, funny you mentioned tree, because I spent I spent 5.5 weeks sitting in a tree for 20 hours a day. And it was 117 during the day and 0 at night. And it was a nocturnal, it was a night animal. And I took one frame in 5.5 weeks. And I was covered in swarm ticks, these little pinhead ticks. If you scratched yourself, it was like having the mange.
What keeps you going?
Well, it was a critically endangered species, and I was determined. It took me 3 years to convince an editor to let me do the story. And you know, you've met my wife. You know, Megs was 9 months with tick tweezers, getting all the ticks off me for 9 months.
Right?
But you know, it's also, like you said, I feel the same way you do. So I don't ever presume I will go back somewhere again.
Right.
Even though it's my job. So I might not get back to Antarctica or Bhutan or Cambodia or Thailand. I just presume I won't. And even if I go back, I may not get to that location. Even if I get to that location, the people will be different, the time will be, the lighting will be different, the weather will be different. So I try and maximise that, which means it's incessant. You know, it's incessant, but you know, less is more. I've learned to try and slow that whirlwind of my brain. And then when I get home, I remind myself with that juxtaposition that I'll be back in the world again soon, because as much as I love being at home, that passion to document, like you have, you want to go back again, but we all try not to be too hard on ourselves if we miss it. And I still miss it. I miss it all the time. But you try not to be hard on yourself and say, okay, that's as good as I got, but I could have done this better. I could have twisted this way or twisted that way. I'm making it out as if I'm not really hard on myself. If I miss something, it's like sometimes I'm going, no excuse for having missed that, especially at this point in my career. But I'm trying to learn to be nicer to myself.
You know, my motto is 1% better every day.
Yep, well, 100%.
No matter what you do.
No. Right? Have you ever seen Ben Stiller, you know, Walter Mitty, the movie Walter Mitty?
I have not.
It is the most wonderful movie, and it's about a photographer and the Time magazine. And it is amazing. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie. And it was a story from the 50s, I think, when it was first written. But anyway, I won't spoil it for you, but Sean Penn is in the movie. And there's a scene with Sean Penn, for anyone who's watching, where he's on a mountainside. Now, the people who have known me a long time, thought I was Walter because of these adventures. But the people who have seen my evolution in this creative turmoil have said, you've turned into Sean Penn.
Is that right? So
you have to watch the movie, and it's wonderful, it's beautiful, and I think I'm on that Sean Penn mountainside these days a lot, you know, where I have to forgive myself and then evolve into someone else where I can just watch or just experience or whatever. So,
well, maybe we'll be able to show that film for our viewers.
It's amazing. It is amazing. One of the best movies I've ever seen. Yeah.
So you've been face to face with anacondas.
Yeah.
Chased by tigers.
Yeah.
How have you been able to survive all of these different types, not only environments, we talked about diseases, animals? Yeah.
I mean, I'm 827, Brie. I you know, just clocking up the years. But I think one of the things that we lose in these wonderful societies that we've built for ourselves is instinct. We're not in touch with it. People aren't in touch with their instincts anymore. And so, you know, you move along and we're busy. Their phone's ringing, we're looking at our watches, all of these sorts of things. But the world doesn't function like that for many, many humans. And in the wildlife, in the wild world, the natural environment, it's all instinct. Everything's trying to eat everything else. And so for me, because I've never known anything different, and I was a zookeeper for 12 years and I worked with wildlife, and then I started traveling alone for months and months on end, and I'd fly into South America and pop out 8 countries later with no Spanish or no Portuguese, and crossing borders with no visas and getting shot at in the Congo and all of these things. So I've been so in tune with my surroundings, not that I can't get it wrong, I would never be so arrogant to say that, but if my body says now's the time to run, and I'm calm, you know, the more difficult it gets, strangely, the more happier my brain is. But if my brain says run, I run. If it says duck, I duck. Or if I feel that there's a bad energy coming from something, you know, I'll politely extricate myself. Or with wildlife, I try and use those decades of knowledge to put me in the position that gets the shot that I need. But, you know, I think for me, it's very much it's almost a spiritual connection with what I do, because if I'm not really in tune with the environment, whether it's human or wildlife or nature, I'm not going to get the shot I want, but B, also it can go sideways so rapidly.
So it seems like you just sort of put that fear aside.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, 100%.
it doesn't infiltrate your ability to focus and to follow through with.
I don't do fear. Like I've been scared, but when I work, if I get off a plane in a country I've never been to before and I have to have those cameras straight away in my hand, I move around as if I've always lived there. Like literally, not through ego, not through arrogance, nothing.
Right.
I'm so comfortable in moving around the planet that, you know, there's times where that can go and people go, no cameras, and it can get really disturbingly bad. But then I just go, okay, that's completely fine and whatever. But my default position is that I'm at home everywhere on Earth.
I feel like also too, when people see the camera, they think authority.
Yep.
In a way.
Yeah, for sure,
right?
for sure. Yeah, and also too, it's look at everything we have. You know, we're so fortunate in the countries that we live in that our wealth, even in our day to day, is more than people can imagine in some other countries. And so when I travel, you know, if I take pictures of people, I don't necessarily show them. I don't know if you remember this or not, but because if they want to see them, I'll show them, but I never force that engagement because the one device I might show them is a camera that's like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of their annual salary.
Right.
Or my iPhone, and it's just a phone to us.
Right.
But that phone is $2,000 to a person who's on an annual income of $300 per annum.
Right.
So I try and engage on a different level, but I also take some old prints of my family. You know, just literally 6x4 prints. And they're beaten there in my journal, and I show them those to connect, because a photo is something everyone can relate to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My goodness. So what is your advice for amateur photographers? Like what would be, give me step 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Put your ego aside. It's not about you, it's about the story. So there's so much ego in photography. Amateur, professional, it doesn't matter. Everyone gets caught up, and this is what I created. Okay, that's great. But think about the story. Just put that aside. You know, did I tell the story? Did I capture it the way I wanted to? And that's probably something you didn't expect me to say, but purely because you have to, because if that's in front of you, you're not going to get to the story. You're just not. You know, if you're thinking about yourself, you're never going to get to the picture. It's not about you. You are literally, in Bhutan, where I work often, the Buddhist monks there regard me as a bodhisattva, you know, which is a humble title, which is basically someone who's earned the right to pass on, but stays to help.
Okay.
You know, and so you can't have that. So to them, they're well aware that I see myself as the tool, not the actual point of it. So I am just the vessel through which the creativity happens. And I will get diseased and get stitched up and rebuilt and everything and just keep going because the picture is what counts. I don't count. Secondly, take less frames. You know, just take less frames. Doesn't matter if it's on your phone or any type of camera, just take less. Less is more, fewer frames are better. And then stop. If it's something that's not going away, you know, the light's always changing, but if it's a tree or a flower or whatever, step back and think, what made me want to take that picture in the first place? This is my number one rule for myself.
Okay.
Why did I want to take that picture? And then I find that one thing, and here's my one thing rule for anyone watching. I allow you, you might remember this, you can have one thing in any picture, and only one thing. Why did I want to stop and take it? That one thing. And then I focus on what that one is, I build my picture around that. And I mean, I think thirdly is, it's like golf. And you can have a wonderful day and be on a high for a week.
Right.
Or you can be really hard on yourself. And it's meant to be fun. You're meant to work hard at it, but it's meant to be fun. And so people get so caught up in their wins and their losses and the missed opportunities that it sometimes can detract from the joy of creating. And remember, humans have been telling stories for 60,000 years. Aboriginal Australians, First Nation Australians, 60,000 years, 60,000 years. We were doing it in artwork on walls. Now this is our storytelling. So don't disconnect yourself from it. You know, just find the fun in it. And if you don't get what you want, learn from that. But don't get hard on yourself. That's for people like me to do.
Well, you certainly have fun in your stories, in these amazing photographs in this book. Jason, what a pleasure
Thank you for having me.
I feel so honored that you've joined us today, and I know the community they've got a lot of takeaways, and I know they're probably going to want you back. So folks, if you're just joining us, this is Jason Edwards. He works with National Geographic, and he put this beautiful book together for one lucky winner out there. He's going to sign this. So if you'd like to enter the contest, please send us an email to Laguna Woods Village TV at gmail.com. Please send us your name and your phone number so we can get a hold of you if you are the lucky winner. And if you're not, you can pick up your copy from Amazon.com. So with that, Jason is going to sign this beautiful book for one of our lucky winners to be announced very soon.
Let's do it then.
Let's do it. And he's got beautiful handwriting. Of course he does.
And thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful to be here.
I can't thank you enough for traveling from Australia to be here with us today. Jason
right.
Edwards, National Geographic photographer. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this amazing interview with Jason Edwards, National Geographic photographer. We will see you next time on Village TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
Something is happening tonight at the Barclay. The Barclay in Irvine. Live entertainment, you don't want to miss it. Tonight at the Barclay. Cue the lights, take your seat, and it's right down the street at the Barclay.
Hearing connects you back to life. Don't settle for being trapped in the isolation of poor hearing. Advanced Ear can help you hear friends, family, and caregivers. We provide one-on-one hearing programs that will amaze you with the quality of how much better you can hear. There's no cost to hear the improvement we deliver. You'll be able to hear better the minute you put these on. No buttons to push or technology to be afraid of. We deliver better hearing, guaranteed. Come in so we can connect you back to life. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
All right, before we head out, folks, let's take a quick check of our New Year's Eve and New Year's Day weather forecast and the rest of the week while we're at it. It's going to be pretty nice out there. Today got 63, a little cool on the cool side, but then we've got a little bit of a warm-up coming for Wednesday, and then Thursday's going to be our high, mostly sunny, kind of a preview of spring, and then we start to taper off back down to the 60s by the time we hit the weekend. So got a little bit of a warm-up in the middle of the week, but other than that, pretty nice week.
All right, sounds wonderful. Well, we're not here tomorrow, folks, but we do have a lineup of wonderful New Year's movies for you. The Big Short, starting at 9 a.m., moving on to A Star is Born at 12 p.m., and Sully, Landing on the Hudson at 5 p.m. From all of us here at ThisDay, we wish you a very happy New Year's.
Happy New Year, everybody.